Everybody stand up for a moment. And as you stand, I want to tell you that I'm grateful for your attention today, and I'm going to give you all I have to share from a marketing perspective. I hope it's beneficial. I hope it provides value. When we talk about marketing, there's something very important to realize about marketing. That's connection. So I'd like you to turn to one person, look that person in the eyes. So just find somebody, look in the eyes. And try to lock with somebody, look that person in the eyes. I know it's awkward. See if you can withstand it. I looked away first. I know. So you guys can calm yourself and look back at me. I think people forget about connection. I think that they often just forget about connection. So what I want you to do is I put whiteboard markers on your table. So these you can pop off the top, right on the whiteboard. I'd like you to write one company in your mind that their branding, their marketing, their promotions, their social media sites, their products connect with your soul. So I don't care what company it is, just any company. So you have this whole whiteboard section. So as you guys go over there, I'll introduce myself a bit more. And the reason why I'm asking you to do this is I want to connect with you. I want to know what company or companies in this classroom really stand out. So if you can all just go to the whiteboard right now. You just write down a company name. And I'm going to reference some of these companies as we go through this class so that I can be sensitive to the different organizations that have actually impacted the folks in this room. After you write something down, you can take a look at this image. I put these cards down on your desk. So these cards have the same image that's on the screen. And what it is, it's Times Square, except for it's Times Square with some of the logos of companies that we've launched out of our office or companies that we have served and helped rebrand or catalyze a new expression of their brand. So let's look at some of these brands that you wrote. SoulCycle, Samsung, Tesla, Apple, Balmain, H&M, Apple, Samsung, Microsoft, Lamborghini, Apple. Apple's affected us a lot. There's a couple Nikes over there, another Apple. So these are companies that folks in this room feel have emotionally connected with you in some way. I compare marketing and sales in this way. Sales is a person's ability to sell a business or a service or a product to one person at a time, right? So I can sit down with you and we can sit down and talk about whatever product that you want me to get engaged with. And you can sit down with me and you can convince me like, hey, this is the greatest product, this is the greatest service, you should be, and then you'll sell me on that. Or maybe you want me to go to the restaurant that you want to go to, or you want to go take me to the movie that you want to see. And so that's sales, right? When we get everybody around us or a person to go do what we want, we've sold them on that idea. Marketing is the ability to basically sell lots of people at one time without being in front of them. Okay, when you sell somebody, you have to actively be present. When you market to a people group, you've done work and it continues to work for you as marketing. So that's a good way to think about marketing versus sales. Advertising would be something that you actively pay for to market people, but as soon as you stop paying for it, it stops as well. Okay, so when you want to break down, marketing is something that you can put out there that can go on with or without your money. It's just kind of the big category. You break down marketing into advertising, which is something you pay for. As long as you're paying for it, it works for you. And then branding is something that you do that should work for you forever until you rebrand it. Kukui is a company I started in 2010, and we built a software tool that allows different small businesses to manage their website and their text message marketing, their email marketing, postcards, ties to their point of sale system, and ultimately it's one platform where people can get all their marketing done and ties into operations. Now, we had to figure out how to sell this product. So it started off with me selling, not marketing. So I would go with an iPad and I'd walk into these different potential clients and I'd say, hey, you should hire us. We have this great software and we're $1,500 a month. And you should pay me $18,000 a year to handle your marketing. And people said yes, which was very nice of them to give us a chance. And now we don't really sell like that. Now we market. Now we have all sorts of people coming to us because of what we've done, and then people come through the funnel and they say, I want a demo, and then somebody gets on. What you'll see here is he has a special page for every type of vehicle. So every type of domestic, Asian, exotic, and European vehicle, he's built a specific page for every single page. And anytime somebody types in one of these car names into Google or into Yelp or into Yahoo or into Facebook, they will find a very special page that's been built just custom for that company with custom coupons with a different phone number to track how the company actually does. And it all ties to his point of sale system so he knows how much revenue he actually makes through this experience. And in my opinion, this system that Kukui built is the reason why Kukui is the fastest growing company in San Jose. Because no software company has ever built anything this easy for a small business owner to use, or this complex in terms of a system for small businesses. This type of software is only built for enterprise companies that have a 7 or 8 figure budget to build things this complicated. But it certainly has been great for the 700 or so clients that we serve at Kukui. I'm no longer at Kukui, by the way. I was there, started at my friend's house 2010. 2013 I left, and I've done some other things since then, but I'm a big fan. Go Kukui. And I'm a shareholder, so I obviously want them to win. Win, make my family some money. Ultimately allows him to build his business with the same type of scalability that Samsung, Microsoft, Apple can build their businesses with. Because that's what every business owner wants to find, is an ability to scale, right? They don't want to get stuck in a position where I built this big business, I have all these employees, and now I realize that I can't scale my company. So I've done that, and it's hard. Why is business difficult? Well, business is like anything that is great victory and great struggle. So I don't know if anything is harder than marriage. So the hardest business that you'll ever start is a partnership with a spouse. Because it's two people coming together, making a lifetime commitment to one another to build a business called this family name, right? And you're going to face tremendous trials, health, financial, potentially, emotional, and there's all sorts of things that can come against a marriage. It's the most rewarding as well. And no, hold on. And that is the ultimate picture of a business, okay? Now, a business is a much lesser version of starting a family, because ultimately you usually are bringing founding employees together or bringing a partner together, and none of you are making a lifelong covenant. Like nobody's standing before all their family and friends and saying, I am committed to this business with these founding employees forever, and I will never turn my back on them. And you're just saying like, hey, let's try to make some money together, right? Let's just see what happens. Let's throw some mud against the wall and see what comes. But it is just as hard, if not harder, because there's no long-term commitment that's going to make you stick. So, businesses just have a hard time. It's just, there's a high failure rate. And that's why I try to explain to people, because I've started a lot of different organizations. Very few have been successful. I've had a couple really cool things happen, which I'm grateful for. But I've always said the same thing, that if you are the founding team with me, that I tell that founding team, like, we're going to have the hardest time ever starting this company. You're going to have more fun starting this company than you ever knew you could have in business. Like, you didn't even know that that you were allowed to have this much fun. But the company, if it's successful, it will outgrow you. So prepare your heart not to be hurt when you end up quitting because you're not happy anymore, or when you end up being fired or laid off because things have changed. That's the hard truth of a business that's different than a family. You never sit down with your children and say, hey, it's probably not going to work out for you. I'm guessing between 11 and 12, you're out, because I don't want to deal with a teenager. You don't say that, and that's not a reality. You have this long-term commitment in the family business, building that organization of a family, but in just any everyday business, it ebbs and flows. So the way that you think of business growing is it starts with a movement. So a movement is that startup phase. There's that idea guy, or there's those idea people, and they're like, let's do this thing, we can make $1 billion business. Or what I really love seeing with the generation right now is, let's start this thing and change the world. Like, let's do business for good. Let's make a B corporation, and let's be a low-profit company. And sure, if we're really successful, we can all make great six-figure salaries, but let's build a business to impact the world in a positive way. Let's make it more about money, because money won't make us sick. Let's do something that actually is emotionally charging our soul so that we stay the course in the business. And so there's different motivations around starting a movement, but it is a movement. And a business is similar to any other movement. It's all the same thing. You don't have any idea what's going on. You work crazy hours. It's really, really hard. It's really fun. And then eventually that movement transitions and it becomes organized, right? So this is the originator over here. This is the startup. So that's kind of this phase. And then through that phase, then you transition over to a memorial, right? No, a monument. So this is a monument. Now all of a sudden it goes from movement to monument, or you could say this is where the organizers come in. This is like an established corporation. And then eventually this transitions over to a museum, where the operators, I don't know how to spell operators. I'm really bad at spelling, so forgive me for that. And this is basically, let's say it's a Fortune 500. Now, there are people that live in these spaces. Okay, so there are people that they come into an organization after it started. It's a movement. They have some originator type skills. They kind of like the startup environment, but they didn't think of it and start it in their house. Like, these are my 4th or my 8th employees at my companies. And then they transition through when it becomes a monument, when it's a real organization, a real corporation, because some people have the originator, organizer thing going. And so when all the founding employees quit because it's not fun anymore, or all the founding employees are invited to leave, laid off, fired, their contracts aren't renewed, however you want to say it, when that happens to them because the company outgrew them, these other folks, they last, right? And they can make it in a corporation. And then there's the people that are true operators. And these people only have a job because 1, 2, 3 generations back, there was an originator that had a vision. Has anybody been to a castle? Castle? Yeah. It takes 100 to 500 years to build a castle. So what that means is that there was a king, and the king had a vision. And the king said, I have an idea. Let's start a castle. The king never got to live in the castle, never got to enjoy the castle. Even his son and maybe his grandchildren didn't enjoy the castle, but sometime down the road, 100, 500 years later, the castle was complete. That's the whole idea of building this massive, what I would call a museum, right, or memorial. It's kind of this dead, soulless business, Fortune 500 corporation. You can have entrepreneurial things happen inside of it. These big, memorials can kind of give birth to movements inside of them. But this is where the span of business goes. So movement, monument, museum, originator, organizer, operator, startup, corporation, enterprise. You have to have your reason. You have to have your reason. Like, what is your reason? Like, why are you coming to school? Why are you getting a degree? Why are you working 1 or 2 jobs? Why are you going to go serve somebody else's vision? Why are you going? What is your reason in life? And if it's yourself, if you look in the mirror and you say, "I'm my reason," it will not sustain you. That will eat you alive if you're your own reason. If you're self-absorbed, it will eventually, everything will fall apart. It helps to have other people that you care about, whether that is a partner that you're doing something with, or it's a community, a tribe, a group of friends, or it's family that is your family that you look up to, or family that, in my case, that I've had, like my boys. Like, what is the legacy, right? And are you building a castle? I mean, that's a real question to ask yourself as you're in school. Are you building a castle? Or are you just building things? You building sandcastles that you can build in a day and will go away tomorrow? Or is there any pursuit in your life that you'll never finish in life, but it's so important and it has such a sense of legacy to you that you're going to do it? You're going to serve on that nonprofit board. You're going to go and do something that's meaningful, that's going to last beyond your life, beyond what you're going to see. Because it's only in this generation that anybody in this room can do whatever you want. No generation has been like you. No generation ever. Ever. You have more at your disposal than anybody in the past, ever. You're smarter. You have more technology. You have more network. You have more ability, more access to money, more access to people. There's nothing that can stop you. Go ahead.
All of this means also a lot more competition.
That's true.
So,
And competition will help you be better. Why are football players and baseball players so much better today than ever before? Because we have an international pool of athletes that have come and risen the competition level so that everybody is better. But the big thing for you to ask yourself is, what are you going to school for? What are you learning economics or marketing for? When you get a job, when you pursue a career, what are you doing it for? Because nothing, like money doesn't matter. I've made so much money. I've made so little money in my life. It's crazy. And it's this is what really matters. A legacy. It doesn't have to be children. Some of you may never want to have kids. That's fine. It doesn't have to be family, but it has to be something. Something that you are striving to build a legacy for. This will sustain you when nothing else will. And school's going to come and go, then you're going to go on to a new season. And then you're going to go on to career, and you're going to have other things that happen. So just think legacy. And especially when about marketing, don't let marketing become a thing in your mind that it's okay to assault people with a message just to manipulate them, to get them to buy something or do something that maybe they should not buy or do in the first place. Marketing is an ability to sell to a lot of people at once, something that hopefully is really good for them. Thank you for having me. It's been fun, and I appreciate the opportunity.